heard it on the radio. That's great. I said, we want to now together pray for this hurricane to stop, blah, 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 blah. I thought, now this is great programming. That's the kind of programming I like.
Hey, welcome everybody to this video and interview. If you're into energy work, healing circles, group healing, group energy, like this healing circle that I have here in my hands, but just with people, then this video is for you. And today I'm talking to Fred Dodson, world-known author, great human being. And Fred, thank you for being with me and welcome.
Hello. The reason I agreed to this podcast is because the guy you see sitting here, Christoph, it was the book, Healing and Energy Circles, was his idea. He was a student in one of my seminars where we were doing these healing and energy circles. And he said, why don't you write a book on this for the benefit of all? So I think he was the first person. I think this was your idea. Did you know that?
Well, I just knew that the idea really resonated with many people in the seminar last year. So I think it was an idea whose time has come.
Yeah, well, I think it was your idea originally. Congratulations.
Let's go. Thank you.
It was a brilliant idea, actually. The book is really doing well, which I can't say of all my books, but this book is doing very well. And for all you listeners out there, I'd like you to know that if you listen all the way till the end, we have a little surprise for you in store. You can find out how to get one of the books for free, signed by me.
This book. Exactly. So listen to the end. And yeah, Fred, I'm excited. And so you're an expert in energy work and groups also because you did many group seminars. But also I think you grew up in some kind of like group energy.
Are you saying I grew up in a cult? What do you mean?
No, because you witnessed like group healings, no? I think.
Oh, yes. Oh, I see. That's what you're referring to. Yeah, I grew up in a household where my parents invited people over and would pray on them. Pray on them, but pray for them. They would pray for them. And it was all very Christian. And that's what I witnessed. I witnessed a lot of healings at my home from my father, from my dad. My dad was the healer. And it's funny, these days he's not doing so good himself. So that's how life can go. These days he's sick a lot. But in those days, he was the source of healing for many, many people. And I find that very interesting. How can somebody who is such a good healer for everyone be that sick all the time? And it goes to show that your consciousness it can go up, it can go down, it can go up, and we need to stay awake and aware.
But do you think that's almost inherent in I call it archetype of the healer, that they might, battle themselves like some health issues? Healer, heal thyself.
Yeah, healer, heal thyself. Maybe he also picked up stuff from the people he was healing. I don't know.
And you mentioned cult, and you also mentioned in your book that group healings, group energy facilitations, people think of cults. How come?
Because of movies. These energy circles are shown in movies always in the context of horror movies. I've never seen them shown. When a group chants, for example, think of group chant. If you watch movies, you see a group chanting. If it's a horror movie, if you're dealing with Satanists chanting, backwards or in Latin or something, and or oh, it's all horror based. That's how I remember energy circles. But this is Hollywood nonsense.
Mm.
I noticed this when I did these exercises in my seminars. People said, let's close stuff like let's close the windows. People will think I'm in a cult. Or if my mom would see this, she'd think I'm a member of a cult. And that's from Hollywood programming, from movies, basically. There's absolutely no reason to believe that at all, really. In any case, we take it's possible that these things are used by cults, and they are actually, but we use them positively in my seminars.
Hmm. But I think then there's also this gray zone because when many people come together and energy is involved, and you've also written a book on what is it called? Entities. So how do you see it like when people come together at pop concerts or soccer stadiums? And there's a lot of energy. And I also watch now many soccer games because I like the
Which
energy.
indeed, which soccer games, indeed. Exactly. Yeah, you're right. It's group energy is very powerful, and it can be used easily misused for the bad. It can be harvested. I think it's secretly being done. It can be directed in certain directions. There are many positive movements that turned foul, that were misdirected because of group energy. I like to, actually, I like to cite a German movie called Die Welle, The Wave.
Mhm.
Do you know it?
We watched it in school.
Oh, okay. You watched it in school.
Mhm.
That's something positive going in the wrong direction. It's so easy. Okay. The positive was that everybody felt more conscious, more awake, more powerful, more empowered. And then it just went in the in the wrong direction. And this happens with concerts, techno parties. I mean, I used to go to techno parties. I used to go. Where are you? In which city are you?
Ingolstadt now.
Ingolstadt. Okay. I used to go to techno parties in Munich, in Berlin, and
W-
uh, Love Parade and all that. And I didn't like it when I was in a trance state. I was dancing. I was a young boy, okay? And they had stuff on the screen flashing at me, messages that I
Mhm.
didn't like. That's abuse of groups. Okay, I find that abusive. Do. Let me just create my own thoughts. Stop influencing me and flashing me and do. So yes.
Did you go to Kit Kat Club?
No, I didn't. No, but I'm familiar.
Okay. Elon Musk went. Mm.
Oh, I see. Okay, that was a long time ago. Yes. How old are you actually?
33.
33. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So Love Parade was before your time, actually,
Was it like 96?
from 1990 to 2004.
Mhm. Yeah, I think so. This is interesting that you mentioned this because often I think these like mass movements start out good, but what's taking them over? Is it drugs? Is it entities? Is it like, government infiltration? Is it
These are good questions. I wish I knew. I think the group dynamic itself overpowers the individual energy. so that people get a hive mind.
Mhm.
And then it's us versus
Mm.
them.
Mm.
Okay, that's one of the basics. And of course, there's governments that try to make use of that and use that for their own benefit. Yes,
Mm.
but it's basically it's the group power, the group energy overpowering the individual. So I'm part of this group now, and I can no longer think for myself. I just take whatever the group says, and we see this in especially in American politics. You know, all of these parties, these two parties, they start out as with positive ideas and good ideas for the country, and then it becomes so insane that you can't believe. You're like, what the fuck is going on here? you know,
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
I don't have to explain really.
But I mean, essentially, we want to have the best of both worlds. No, we want to be a strong individual, but also it feels nice sometimes to serve, on the group energy and feel connected to people in this
Yes,
group mind.
yes, it feels very good, very, very. Both feels very good. So what you just said is the practice we need. Nobody talks about these things, but if we talk about them, and if we're aware of group dynamics versus individualism, and talk about it, then these diversions never happen. But these are
Mhm.
things that are not talked about, and people just go through the motions without conscious awareness. But
Mhm.
this doesn't happen to us because we're aware of it.
Mhm. And I mean, I think it happens in longer cycles that people who join a cult, they get lost for a few years and then maybe they find like they exit the cult. So they would learn by life, like teaching them.
By experience.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. Yes, by experience. And then they see the cult from the outside, or they see the political party from the outside and think, how could I have ever been part of that? But originally there was a positive intention and it was good.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it happens all the time throughout history, all the time. I'd even say, well, no, I'm not going to say it. Yes.
You're also a history expert, but
It happens over and over, and it would be nice if we can keep a group consciousness that isn't perverted or diverted. Where I think the solution is that people maintain their individuality and there's freedom to express a different viewpoint within the group. But then the group thinks that disturbs our goal. What are you talking about?
Mm.
It's a skill to be part of a group, but also be able to go outside of it and be yourself. Back in the group, out of the group, in the group, out of group. That's a good exercise, actually. Associate, dissociate. I do a lot of that in my work as a coach, actually.
Mhm. So people who are listening to this and who think like, I want to be part of a group, but I want to make sure it doesn't become a cult. Like, what could be like a mechanism that they could create to make sure that doesn't happen?
Well, the group energy is so overwhelming,
Mm.
um, and does so much positive for people. They see they're part of a movement. People need to be educated in group dynamics, group
Mhm.
energy, abuse of group energy, how the elite and the governments manipulate group energy. They need to be educated in brainwashing, in individuality versus group, in group beliefs, cultural beliefs versus individual beliefs, in indoctrination. Education in these topics will fix it. Why do you
Do
think
you
I
have a
write?
few?
Why do you think I write about it?
Yeah, what are the books you recommend on these topics?
Blank. That's a problem, you see, total blank. And that's the problem. There's no education on it. So
Mm,
I will have to write on that too. I am at the moment. I'm writing a book at the moment that addresses these things.
okay. But I'm not gonna ask you more because I know your policy of future projects.
Yes. Well, my
Okay,
next book addresses these things for sure.
okay. And yeah, so let's go back to a healing circle. So what's the basic setups? What are the ingredients?
So you asked for the book. Did you enjoy the book? Did you like it?
Yes, 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 a lot.
Okay. So you tell me what's the basic setup if you read the
Yeah,
book.
the basic setup is, I would say, a group of 5 to 6 people. Have one person in the middle who's the receiver, and then the other person gathering in a circle around the person. And yeah, basically sending energy in the form of thoughts or sounds or images to the person.
Yes, that's the basic setup indeed. So there's in the book, I describe different types of things you can send to the person in the center. One is attention, the other is images, visualization, the other is sound, the other is prayer or intention. And that's all really. Those are the basics, those are the main ones. Mhm. So based
Mhm.
on what I just said, anybody can do their own circle before even reading the book.
Yeah, I
However,
think
yeah, yes.
no, I think the stumbling blocks might be to find people, a group of people who are interested.
Yeah, that's what the book is for. The book
Hmm.
is to get people interested. And once they understand what it is and why it's good and why it's healing and why it's energizing, they'll say, hey, I read this book. Why don't you read it too? And then let's meet up. That's the whole idea, you know. Otherwise, if I say, let's meet for a healing energy circle, nobody's motivated to. But if they read the book, they get the idea. Okay, this is an opportunity to be energized for free, um, to gain an energy and health for free through other people. So instead of looking for frequencies on YouTube, I get human frequencies, human sounds.
Mhm.
Um, we need to go back to a more meetup culture, in my opinion, away from screens to real energy, to feel real energy. So, anybody who's read the book, you know, I mean, you could do that. You have a community. You could say, this is an awesome book and let's meet up. Who wants to meet up and do it? I think that will happen. It's already happening. I've already heard of people that have gathered. Everybody knows other people, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, and I mean it's a great idea also with like family gatherings, maybe. If you wanna if you wanna change it up a bit at
Instead of fight,
Christmas.
yes. Instead of fighting or overeating, yes, indeed. That's a good idea.
Mm,
Yes,
mm.
you
No,
know.
and I already did it with my local Qigong group, and there we're always talking about energy, but still, it's like a bit like it's like a new thing. It's like, oh, one person is in the middle, and we're like making sounds.
Yeah, it's I'm surprised the Qigong group uh would be skeptical. That's surprising.
Not skeptical. I mean, I throw everything at them. What's my current research? But I mean, and what we also saw in your seminar, like sometimes for people in the middle, it's it's not so easy to receive or to stay like serious. They would go into like a laughing to like avoid all the group energy slash attention.
Excuse me?
That people would, try to like wiggle themselves out of this middle position because they don't want to be the receiver of the energy, or it's like
Yeah,
overwhelming, probably.
I know, it's amazing. And in those cases, I say, yeah, that's fine. Then don't. A lot of people don't want the energy, don't want the attention. In reality, they do.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants it, but for some people, it's actually too much because it brings up, if you radiate energy on someone, it brings up things they're not ready to see yet. So if you go up to this energy level, things come up from your subconscious. And some people just don't want to see that yet. They don't want to develop that quickly. It's too much. So that's okay, you know.
Mm-hmm.
People should know that that could happen.
Mm-hmm. And what should you do then if you're
Take a break from
mm-hmm.
energy circles.
Mm-hmm.
and,
Mm-hmm.
and and let things process. Something might come up, you know, and you just take a break and let it run through, let it process whatever it is. Could be gone within an hour. Like in my last seminar, I had somebody who had headaches the whole time. And he didn't tell me this. If he had told me this, we could have handled it. But at the end of the seminar, he came to me, he said, I had headaches the entire seminar, but I still learned a lot. Thank you very much. And I'm like, you have the headaches because you're suppressing stuff that comes up based on the high energy. You're keeping it down. And he said, what should I do? How should I get rid of the headache? I said, well, now that the seminar is over, it's going to go away. You'll see after a few hours, it'll be gone, you know, and it was. So if it's too much for you, or if you're, people shouldn't resist the stuff that comes up. They should let it pass through. It's not good or bad. It's just energy passing through, as I say.
Mm-hmm. And I just remembered something which I thought would be one of the most important topics for this interview. So we had 2 days ago, I think. So we're talking now October 11th, 2024. We had this hurricane, the second one in a row, approaching Florida or like several states. Um, but it was downgraded, and I really loved your tweet on this. Like you're bold, how you always are, like like speaking to the Most High. That maybe you can say what you did and what your thoughts were.
Yeah. So the news was saying this is a category 6 hurricane. And I've been through a category 5 hurricane while living in Florida, and it was absolutely devastating. It was not for me, but for my entire surroundings. So that even Orlando, which is in the middle of Florida, was flooded. You'd never think that something in the middle of the land is flooded, right? It was absolutely horrific. And this was supposed to be even worse, level 6. And I thought, okay, these people the infrastructure can't handle this. So we need to do mass intention, mass prayer or mass intention. And I did a prayer. I tweeted it. Yeah, tweet sounds much better than I X'd it. I X'd it. I tweeted it. Indeed, I tweeted it. And I posted it. There you go. I posted it, and it was commanding the hurricane to recede, to dissipate, to dissolve, to be stopped in its tracks in the name of the Most High. That's how I do prayers in these healing and energy circles too. But we were doing a mass energy circle, and I invited the thousands of people seeing the post to participate and to say the same. And I believe that many, many other people besides myself were also doing this. In fact, I heard it on the radio. That's great. I said, we want to now together pray for this hurricane to stop, blah, 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 blah. I thought, now this is great programming. That's the kind of programming I like. So I actually believed in this. I really believed in it. And then I forgot about it for a while. And next thing I know, it's reduced down to a level 4. I thought, wow, that's interesting because the news was full of fear and dread. People were evacuating like never before. More cars trying to flee Florida than ever before. Traffic jams, gas stations out of gas. Never seen anything like it. And then somebody told me it's been downgraded to a 3.
Mm.
And a 3 is no longer a hurricane, it's a storm. And the infrastructure can easily handle a 3. Okay. Um, and I posted about this. I said, keep on going, keep on intending, keep on praying, keep on doing it. And people can easily say, they always do, they say, well, this would have happened anyway. Your intention, sending your intention has nothing to do with it. And to those people, I say, fine, then live your life without conscious intention. And we'll see where I end up versus where you end up. Okay. Like I've been through two absolute disasters. One was Hurricane Ian. I think it was in 2023 or yeah, 23, where all the houses around me were flooded except for mine. And is that a coincidence? And the people say, oh, it would have happened anyway. I don't know. I don't know. And the second disaster was recently when Asheville, where I just did a seminar, and I
Mhm.
live near Asheville, was completely obliterated. But my house is fine, right? So I say, then live your life without conscious intention. I'll stick to my conscious intention. I think the prayers and intentions of millions of people stop this hurricane and can stop hurricanes. And then somebody else posted saying a Native American guy with Native American blood, saying that his Native American grandfather said, you can, a person of power can start and stop storms.
Mhm.
And then I remembered the ancients actually believed this. The ancient people, you can start and stop storms, the Aborigines, Native Americans.
Yeah, I've also heard these stories that you can become like centripetal to the storm. So you would become the center, the eye of the storm. And then you could even like steer it, like navigate it.
Wow,
Um, Also an old shamanic technique.
becomes centripetal. That's awesome. To
Mm.
why don't you tell us more?
So for everyone who hears this the first time, I have to send them to Dan Winter, basically. Like he talks about this all the time. So he basically created this mathematical formula that explains many things in the universe. So basically all is like um, worlds. Like it's basically all little tornadoes. Like all the energy, it's all like so you have like the big entering of the tornado or like the little energy whirlwind. And so then how does it go to the center? How does it approach the center? There's like a science to it. And so basically he found out that when you imagine, okay, you have this thing and you have like different, everything is like a wave, and you want to put like as many waves as possible into this figure, into this whirlwind. Then if they arrange themselves according to the golden mean, uh, 1.618. So this is the perfect, like what you see in leaves from a tree, like they have maximum exposition, minimum superposition, which means like the leaves arrange themselves in a way that they get the most light without blocking others. I think that's also
Wow.
interesting idea how people, could relate to each other.
Wow. Get the most light without blocking others. Mm.
So then here's like a compression is happening down the vortex. And here at the center of the vortex, transversal waves turn into longitudinal waves, which are more like pulsed waves. And this is observed in all the psychic phenomena. But that's the idea. This enables lucid dreaming, telepathy, answers to phone calls. And so the more centripetal you can become, the more still you become. You're not like here and there, no. You're in your center.
Mm.
And then you can embed into other energy fields. So for example, when we're like earthing, grounding, putting our feet to the ground, we're embedding ourselves into the energy field of the earth. So
That's
we have the
awesome.
big earth energy field, and then we have us tiny, and we're like embedding. And the
Mm-hmm.
best embedding happenings when we're like, pure principles, no negative thoughts. So we again have the golden mean, so we don't cancel each other out. Agree, like what? Get fractal or die. So fractal is self-similarity. So you're similar to the
Uh-huh.
whole, so you don't cancel each other out, and all the negative emotions get canceled out. And basically, he says when you feel the pain of the hurricane, then you also become centripetal to it. And so then you would embed yourself in it, and then you can steer it.
Well, there you go. That could be an approach to how to handle group energy
Mm,
as well.
mm, mm-hmm.
It's the way you position yourself in a group. I
Tell us.
can't tell you more of this. It's just what comes up.
No, but I have to tell you, you've been very close to Dan Winter because you posted already these bioarc architects, like really amazing, beautiful houses that they create.
Incredible, yes.
And so he's the teacher to them. Like he explains like what is the physics of feng shui. Um, so he taught to these guys that you posted like
Oh,
all this
okay.
stuff.
I didn't know that. I'll look into it. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
okay, Fred.
that's very futuristic stuff. Just like the healing and energy circles. These are futuristic things.
Exactly, and that's my point. Really, this coming together of millions of people probably like praying and manifesting for this hurricane to shrink. It really felt like this timeline switch or whatever, because it really felt like okay, people tap into the collective energy and made something happen.
Yes, that's how it felt. It felt like a different approach to the hurricane. I didn't feel the same with the previous hurricanes. And this one felt different. I heard about prayers and intentions everywhere I went. People, I don't know who seeded that into the mass consciousness, but that was a shift to the positive for sure. That's
Hmm.
very, very good news. For the
Hmm.
first time, humanity, it's almost like for the first time, so many people get together to take influence. And, most of these people completely normal, no background in the kind of stuff we're doing or thinking about.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the future. If this concept of energy circles takes off, like how would you imagine it playing out in the future?
Energy and healing circles um, are something that's going to happen anyway, in my opinion, just like it happened with the hurricane. That was an energy and healing circle. But more specifically, I think you'll find it in hospitals, real hospitals. You'll find it in schools. There will be sessions in schools in the future. I genuinely believe this. I believe we did this a long time ago, way, way back in the day. And we've forgotten. We've just forgotten. This will be used in government. This will be used first. The first ones who will use it, of course, are all the self-improvement workshops. Those will be the first. But then from there, it'll even go into churches, yoga studios, whatever.
Mhm. And I have to say, it's actually already happening a bit. Like Joe Dispenza, like he has this like cage of eight, like eight people who heal one person in the middle.
Is that so?
Yeah, yeah. I was
Wow,
recently at a meditation workshop, not with him, but like his meditations. And
that's
yeah,
good.
you have one person. So it's like a fixed setup. It's eight people who connect themselves with each other's hearts and then send the energy to the person. And I mean, they're really intense. They have these like big groups. You can book healing appointments. They're like booked out months in advance. So they do it like at the workshops in person, but also online. Um, so it's already this, it's a kind of movement already.
It's already starting.
Hmm.
Yeah. I try to anticipate the future with that book, and I think that's what's going to happen because it works. That's why. That's why it will spread.
Hmm. And we call it healing. Or what did you say? Energy circles. But I think, yeah, people can also use it, as you said, for self-improvement, no? To manifest things.
Yes, absolutely. I provide techniques for that in the book. You can have a group of people, for example, visualizing what the person wants to be seen as. So the person says, I'd like to be seen this and this way. I've achieved this, I've achieved that, and please support me in that. And then the entire group projects this image that they've achieved that onto the person. I've done experiments with this specifically, and it's felt. The difference is felt. By experiment, I mean I've had the person blindfolded and they could tell me when they're being visualized on versus when they're not being visualized on. So you can take these concepts and you can examine them scientifically, and you will get results where people can tell the difference, whether they're getting attention or not getting attention, being visualized on, not being visualized on, in a scientific setting. If there's, unless there's a person present who doesn't like this idea, that can mess with the results.
Mm. And I think we are often thinking of the person in the center receiving, but what is it doing for the people, like sending?
More, we've,
Mm.
yeah, more. Most people report that the energy is even higher for the giver, for the source. And that makes complete sense. If you're the source of it, it implies that you have it, and that means you're receiving it from the universe.
Mm.
The more you give, the more you receive.
Mm.
So there's loads of energy for the person in the center and even more for the giver.
Mm. As a little incentive to join your energy circle.
Yeah. I'm curious how this will develop, whether people intuitively understand it, are able to do it without chaos. My events are always without chaos, without
Mhm.
complaints. But when sometimes I hear others do it and they said this was horrible, people were complaining, they were impatient. It depends on the presence of the teacher facilitating it
Mm.
too. You need to be clear and present.
Hmm. Yeah, and you introduce it as something supernatural, like.
Yes, which it is.
Mhm.
It's a special. It's supernatural. It's not regular. It's not normal. It's you need to love it, respect it. Yes, it's not
Mhm.
an everyday thing. it will change your state. Some of these exercises in the book can radically change your state if you do them long enough. They can make you a different person.
And I think that's also something to consider, because often in the context of your workshops, it's only like, during 3 days and like a few hours maybe. But if there's like a group that finds each other, like you can do this long term.
Yes, you can. And I've seen it. I've done it for long time ago. I've actually done an entire seminar only with the attention healing circle. Okay, of 3 days, just that exercise, no other exercise. So I've seen it done. And that's, of course, even more powerful. Okay, if you have the time, or you can meet every week, and you can pick up next week where you left off the week before. Next week you meet again as a group. Are you healed now? Yes, in fact, I am healed. Or no, I'm not healed yet. Okay, sit down, we'll continue.
Take some more healing energy.
Yes. Then next week, are you healed now? Yeah, a little bit better. Thank you. A little bit. A little bit better is not enough. Get in the middle. That's how people are. I don't want to take up too much time. Get in the middle. Let somebody else's turn. Get in the middle. People are like that, but you can stick with someone until they're healed. That's the ideal. You can radiate and radiate and radiate, and eventually they'll either be healed or get clear ideas on how to be healed, because sometimes it's something different that's needed than energy. It's a change in their behavior, for example, and they'll get the inspiration.
I've seen that also a lot when I did intention groups, that the senders, they like everything for everyone experiences a bit differently. Like some would get feelings in their body that they would communicate to the person in the center. Maybe this helps them. But 30%, 40% also get like really deep images. And often these images talk so much to the person in the center. Like either it's something that they, from their past, or like what's currently going on, or something super valuable for them in the future to try out, to overcome their issue. So there's a lot of telepathy, psychic phenomena happening also.
Yes, there is.
If that's what you're looking for.
Yes. Yes, there is. There's a lot happening. There's a lot of telepathy between the people happening. There's a lot of new inspiration happening because you're elevating to a higher consciousness. And of course, during that time, pay attention to what comes in while you're in that state. Because when you leave the circle, you might go a little back, a little down to your normal state.
Yeah. Okay. Did we cover everything so far?
Yeah, we don't have to cover everything. We've covered enough.
Okay.
However, we would like to say one more thing. We would like to say how you can win a signed book.
One person can win it only.
Only one person can win the signed book.
Yeah, and the idea is for you to do a healing circle, however you see fit, and take a picture of that and post that picture on Twitter, aka X, and tag Fred in the picture. Fred, what's your handle?
My handler is reality creation. That's my handle. Reality
Yeah.
creation. Yeah, I'd say the best two pictures. The best two or the first two? The best two. The two pictures with the most likes, the two, not one, the two pictures with the most likes get a signed book for free.
Mm-hmm.
But you want him to do energy circles before having the book? Is that what you're saying? All right. Just do your best without the book. And then you get the book.
Yeah, but listen to the interview. Be creative. I mean, people could just stage the image
Yeah, you could stage the image. That's correct.
and make it seem high energy.
Yeah. Okay. I believe you could actually tell the difference through the photo. I'd hope. I'd
Mm-hmm.
hope. Not sure
Mm-hmm.
about that. Okay. Yes, that's how you can win 2 free signed books, one each. One for for the people who post a photo of their own energy circle in their own group, and whoever gets the most likes gets the first book and the second book. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
Sounds good.
Fred's signature, it carries energy in itself, I would say.
Okay. And this whole book signing thing was, again, his idea. So he's been the greatest promoter of this book so far.
Mm.
Yes. Anything else?
No,
We're good.
I thank you a lot for your time and everyone who has made it that far. Yeah, have a happy day.
Okay. Greetings and blessings over to Ingolstadt and to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.